Hey folks, this is Julius Twisha Christian. Just giving you a ZNOG update. Now, there aren't any updates as far as any kind of news announcements. When I woke up this morning, I saw that Zion Oil and Gas was at 34.5 cents. This is truly amazing because, to be honest with you, I did not expect the stock to even go up the way it has, at least until closer to the 21st through the 28th. And so it's given an uptick. So people are investing in it. Now, and I've shared with you folks, like a lot of people who are on Robinhood and Webull, they are trying to either sell out between the 32 cents and the 42 cents. There's a lot of people who did invest. And just from going on the boards, looking back a month ago, or even when they switched to OTC markets, there was a lot of comments. A lot of people say they were getting out. They're just waiting for the price to go back up to 40 cents or whatever it was, and they were getting out. A lot of people are saying even now that they have it set at $1 to sell at $1, which is absolutely crazy, especially with everything that's coming. So we're in a climax moment where we're starting to begin that climax all the way up to what I believe above $4. There are several pieces of news that hopefully will come out. Now let's go back to the rig. The rig is set to depart on October the 21st and October the 27th if there is no delays at all whatsoever. Any announcement by Zion Oil and Gas will probably take the stock down by 10 cents or so. And don't forget the wellhead also too. The wellhead was supposed to have arrived a couple days ago. So whenever they announce that news, that'll be interesting to see where the stock goes from there. But we have September, so we have October the 21st. All right, so I expect as we get closer to that date that the stock will rise. And then we have the 27th on the day that it's supposed to arrive. Now, I don't really expect news. When it comes to Zion Oil and how they report things and how they share their news, to be honest with you, I'm not expecting any news, any type of shipping, right? And I don't expect any type of news for the arrival at least 1 to 2 days afterwards. I'm not sure, like I said, I don't even know if we'll even get a tweet that says the ship has launched. All right, and just to give you an example, it says as of today, the wellhead, this is from September 2nd, this is from Zion Oil's site. As of today, the wellhead has shipped from the port of Houston and is expected to arrive in Israel on October the 5th. Well, guess what, folks? We haven't received any, it's the second day after it's arrived, and we still haven't heard any news as far as the wellhead. Has it arrived? What else? What is going on with the wellhead? See, we don't know because you could go to Twitter and you don't see anything. You could go to, I'm here on their site, which would be the first place they would announce it. There's no news, so I don't expect any news of the drill being shipped or the drill arriving until after, maybe several days after the drill's arrived. That just remains to be seen. But you know what? We haven't heard anything on the wellhead. So I'm taking that experience, and if it was supposed to show up on the 5th, if it didn't show, if it would have showed up, say within the last 24 hours, I would have expected to hear it because we had an announcement that they were shipping it. So we should receive some type of announcement that they did get the wellhead in. But also too, what is the strategy? What is the strategy for Zion Oil and Gas? I listened to Currency 365. He said he had a dream that it went up to 477. And as we look at all the news, right, excluding them drilling for oil, I could see that stock just from the arrival of the rig and the crew and all the news that they're supposed to release before they start drilling. I could see it going up that high. But see, that all remains to be seen. But I do expect the stock to continue to rise all the way through October, unless there's any delays. So what is my strategy? So I listened to Johnny from Currency 365. He said he had a dream about 477. So I'm going to go ahead and set most of my stocks for that price. Now you got to keep in mind that if it does go to 477, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to sell. But maybe at some point, maybe this is for everybody who's listening to Currency 365 and people who are listening to this channel. Maybe just for those people who are setting it for 477. Maybe that's what we need to do and see where the blessing takes us. Some people say, well, maybe I'll set it for 467. So I could catch it on the way up. And for some reason it starts coming down and I don't sell all mine, you could set it for a little bit lower than 477. All right, so with all the different types of news that could come out, everything from the shipping to the arrival of the rig to, we've discussed the 3D mapping information, and like I've said before, I don't expect them to release the actual data, but I do expect some kind of report at some point. Whether they do that after they set up the drill and start drilling, so they can verify that they do have oil and what type of grade. But as I've showed this before, the recoverable barrels of oil, and this is their estimated stock price. So if they find 1 million, if they find 1 billion barrels of oil recoverable, stock will shoot up to $163. Now, of course, this information is a little bit older, and it was made during a time when gas was a little bit more, or oil was a little bit worth more. But it just kind of gives you an idea of where they are at. And I do expect oil to go back up. That's just a given when the economy starts getting back on track and everything else. So that report should show us, whenever that's released, they should have already received the information. ZNOG said they would receive it before the end of the third quarter. We're in the fourth quarter. Are we going to get a report? We may either get a report that could be an estimated, but a lot of times these reports don't come out until after they have struck oil and they got some type of grade, right? So, but if they decide to release any type of report on estimated amount of oil in the ground, I do expect that to shoot it up to $4.77. But I also expect, if we don't hear anything from the way the stock is acting now, from all the news that could come out, the arrival of the rig, the arrival of the crew, and anything else, excluding the 3D report, I could see it possibly going up to 477. So I'm going to go ahead and go with it, because this is a prophetic thing. That's one of the reasons why I got into prophetic investing. First of all, it's kind of exciting, and then second of all, people are communicating with God, and they're sharing certain things. We see that with Kim Clement, right? And the prophetic investing. So this is just another one of those stocks. So for those of you who are on Robinhood and Webull, I'm setting mine for 477, right? Then when it does go back down, by the time it goes all the way back down to whatever it settles at, that's when I'll go ahead and buy more, because we are going to have a gap between the arrival of the rig and getting it set up and start drilling. So there's going to be a long gap, at least a 30-day gap, and I think we may see that stock possibly drop. Now, if we were on NASDAQ, that changes everything, and then you will see a lot more you would have seen a lot more wild swings on NASDAQ. I don't even think you would even see the price up to 34 cents right now if we were on NASDAQ. I think it'd still be like around the 20-cent mark. So we're gonna have some news, and we're gonna have some gaps, right? And that's when if we hit that 477 mark, and you're gonna determine the news as far as where we're at that point, right? And then that will determine how much longer we have between any type of announcement of drilling for oil. So I'm just going to go ahead and set it at 477 and see what happens, right? And then for those of you who are using a brokerage through ZNOG, I talked to somebody about that, and it's not really beneficial for you. First of all, you're not really in control of your stocks like you just get on there and trade. But there's also some other disadvantages, like 10 cents per share when you sell, right? And then there's a one-time fee. So if I were you, and I think I mentioned this before, and I have mentioned this before, when everything switched over to OTC, and you started a TD Trade account or E-Trade account, you're basically starting over, right, in your buying, and you would have started over buying at 15 cents. And if you would have started over buying at 15 cents, well, you know, your investment on your new platform would have already doubled. So when it does come to using the brokerage firm, you guys are losing a lot, and and it's going to be very difficult to sell, and you're going to be losing money on each of your sells. So what I would do, if you're still in the situation, you're still buying from a brokerage, I would switch over to E-Trade or TD Ameritrade and just start buying on those Zion Oil. Now the price has gone up. Do I foresee the price ever going back down to 15 cents at this point, where it was at for a while? Right, gave a lot of opportunities for a lot of people to buy up. I don't currently see that unless there are delays. If there is a delay in the shipping of the rig, I can see the stock going down. Now, hopefully, we will get news of that either way, whether the rig is shipping or whether there's delays. So that remains to be seen. But yeah, if you guys are on a brokerage, I would consider, because you guys are going to lose. When it's time to cash out, you guys are going to lose a lot of money. You guys are going to lose, especially if you have like over 10,000 shares, 20,000, especially the more you have, the more you're going to lose. I would reconsider that and start over buying on a brokerage like TD Ameritrade or E-Trade. I'm not, just to get just clear, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm really just talking to people that are already invested and those who are already following me on this channel. So if you're new, I'm not a investment advisor. I'm just giving my opinions, my thoughts, and my thoughts on the research that's been out there. So folks, I thank you for listening. Folks, we just got to hold on. It's October the 7th. We have 14 days until the rig is being shipped. And folks, like I said, I see this continually steady going up until we get some type of announcement concerning the rig, right? Whether it's shipped or arrived. And like I said, because the way they are, the wellhead was supposed to have already arrived, and we haven't heard any news on that. That tells me that we may not hear anything out of Zion Oil, maybe for several days after the expected date. And hopefully this thing will take off before the dinar. That would be awesome. That if I could cash out all of my stocks at 477, I could get everything that I need and even buy even more dinars, right? And then turn around and buy even more Zion Oil, because that's my goal. I think that because of the delay from the time that the rig gets there all the way up to the time of the actual drilling, and I think there's going to be a long gap, and so we could most definitely see maybe some type of drop to where I could get back in and get double the amount of stocks that I had before. All right, folks, thank you for listening. Give a like, give a share, make your comment, and with that being said, God bless. Twisted Christian out.